No, even though it sounds cool, the body doesn't keep the score. And here's why. Hey everybody, my name is Leah Benson, and I'm a licensed body-based psychotherapist, coach, and psychedelic guide in Tampa Bay. And today I'm going to explain a big misunderstanding floating around out there about mental health. Back in 2014, a book by the name of The Body Keeps the Score came out and caused a stir in the body-based therapy community, including for myself. It meant that there was finally some science backing up the methods I was using in a world where cognitive behavioral therapy was touted as the only legitimate therapy. In fact, I was so excited about it that I pre-ordered the book and told all my colleagues about it too. Then, in 2020, when the lockdowns made people feel like they were going crazy and they were desperate to improve their mental health, the book suddenly got more popular than it had ever been. Funny thing, that same year, I also found out about something new. A book that had been published in 2017 called How Emotions Are Made. And the science in that book contradicted darn near everything that was said in The Body Keeps the Score about how the brain works. Now, let me just pause and make something very clear. I'm not against the methods proposed in The Body Keeps the Score, and I don't have a problem with somatic therapy. Somatic therapy is where it's at, and I'm fine with a lot of the methods proposed in the book. My problem is with the alleged science in the book. See, besides catapulting into the public eye the importance of the 100-year-old, actually more than 100 years, old practice of attending to the body during psychotherapy, the book also made some falsified science very popular. When I made this discovery in 2020, it was kind of like finding out that my partner in a supposedly monogamous and very satisfying relationship had been cheating on me from the beginning. For instance, the idea that we have primitive emotional and rational brains within our brain has been falsified since the 1970s. The idea that the amygdala is a fear center in our brains has been falsified, and the limbic system is where our emotions live and can be hijacked, falsified. And last but not least, it's just downright scientifically incorrect to say that the body keeps the score. And that's because the body is a reflection of the patterns that the brain generates. In other words, the brain keeps the score and the body is the scorecard. So like a scorecard, the body is a reflection of the past that we can see in the present. Nothing more. Now, one could maybe say the body is the score if the score is a reflection of what has been happening on the field, but it doesn't keep a score. I mean, the score doesn't exist without somebody being aware of and keeping track of what's happening on the field. Keeping the score means monitoring what's happening and noting it. A scorekeeper does this. And this is what the brain does. In fact, the core task of all brains is to regulate an organism's internal milieu by anticipating needs and preparing to satisfy those needs before they arise. And this is called allostasis, which is scorekeeping, if you will. This allostasis, or scorekeeping, begins with something called interoception, which that book also defines incorrectly, but that's another video. So let me daydream for a moment. I could be generous and say that Van der Kolk was right when he said the body keeps the score, because he meant that the brain's process of allostasis is the body keeping the score, since the brain is part of the body. But alas, he never mentions allostasis or anything else about the 21st century understanding of brain function. So it's obvious he meant no such thing. What he did was write a book from his very authoritative, Harvard-associated position to explain that the body needs to be brought into therapy when addressing PTSD symptoms after he realized that the body-based therapists had the right idea all along and had been solving problems that standard psychiatry hadn't been able to solve for decades. And he did it by laying out a whole bunch of falsified scientific ideas about brain function to explain why body-based techniques work to change PTSD symptoms. And those explanations are not the reasons that the methods work. They work not because you're quieting the emotional part of your brain. They work because you're building a better model of your body in the world. And this idea of a brain running a model, being a model of the body in the world, comes from the mathematics of something called the free energy principle, which is explained in relatively more normal people language by something called predictive processing and active inference, which are also pretty complicated. So that's why I just called it building a better model. And the long and short of what all that means is that successful psychotherapy is, in a nutshell, the process of building a better model, not strengthening the rational part of your brain and calming the emotional part. It means that your brain keeps the score and not your body. A better model means that you will possess and therefore be able to choose different mental and physical attitudes and stances towards things that happen in your life. It means having a different relationship with and conceptualization of yourself in general, and with regards to the choices you have made in the past based on your earlier model. Now, to the point of the value of body-based therapy, building a better model also means practicing, not just by mental rehearsal, but by literally moving your body in new ways as you remember the stories of your life, or as you simulate the idea of entering an upcoming stressful situation in your life. It means working with someone who understands not only the frame of psychotherapy, but how to bring the body into that process. So if you want to get on the field and practice the plays that will make up your different future, contact me at leahbensontherapy.com. And I'll see you next time.